Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is the next video in the additional skill RPA developer series, and the topic which we have chose was the database. In case you are coming to the channel for the first time and you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel to get the latest updates. In the database basics playlist, we already have covered how I can install the SQL server. We have seen the basics of a database. We have seen how I can create, insert, retrieve, delete, drop, truncate, and the rollback of the SQL commands. In case you don't understand any of this, I have put the playlist link in the description for your reference, which you can follow in a step-by-step manner, and you can practice all of this along with installing the SQL server. In the last video of this playlist, we have discussed what are the SQL aggregate function, that how I can use the sum, average, count, mean and max. I hope you understood the aggregate function. So this video is in continuation of the same, where we are going to discuss about the SQL Server clauses. Whenever we are writing queries in the SQL Server, there is something which is called clauses. That is what we are going to discuss today. This would be our overall agenda. These are the clauses which we are going to discuss today. Select clause, from, where, group by, having and order by. So everything we are going to do in a step-by-step manner. You also can follow along with me and you can practice this query along with me. So let's get started by coming first to the SQL Server Management Studio. I have already in my SSMS how I can open. You just go to the start menu and type SSMS. Okay. Now the first thing first, we have to connect to the database. I'll go and click on this guy which says Connect Object Explorer. This is going to show me where exactly is your server and which is your database, right? So all of this is already covered in the first video. Please do refer if you don't understand any of this. Okay, I'll hit connect, and this I'm connected to my data server. In the server we have something which is called the databases, right? We have created a database UiPath which we have been working, and inside the database you have something which is called tables. Okay, so if I expand this table, you could see that I have got a temp DB, I have got a product tables, and I have got a employee table. Okay, so first thing first, let me click on the database. I'll hit new query, right? The shortcut is Control plus N, and let's see what data we have got. So select star from employees. Okay, so this is the table which we are going to work today, right? So this would be the data set which we have been working from the previous video as well. So if you would see, I have got the employee ID, I have employee name, I have the department which is IT, finance and HR, then I have salary for each of the individual, and then I have location for the employees, right? So it's a small plain employee related data. Coming back to my presentation, the first thing is, what exactly is a clause? In SQL Server, a clause is a component of a SQL statement or a SQL query to perform a specific task. Whenever I am writing a query, there is always a need to define some conditions, some criterias. Those criterias are done with the help of clauses. As we have already seen, these are the all different type of clauses which we are going to see today. So don't worry about the description, all of that we'll cover in a step-by-step manner. Okay, so now the first clause which we are going to see today is called a select clause. The select query or the select clause is something we have already discussed in the first video, right? So this is just to recap from the previous slide, that let's say I have this table which is a employee table here, right? And I want to get some data, right? So to get some data, we use something which is called select. This star means that I want to get everything from this table. So select star from table name, right? Select everything from this table name. Now in the select query, you always has an option to put the columns as well, column 1, column 2 and column 3. This is the same thing which I have done here, right? Select star from employee, select everything from the employee. You always has an option to put the column names here like this, right? So I will just remove this star and I can put the employee ID and the salary, right? All of this we have explained in the first video, so not spending much time here, but just to let you know that the clause, one kind of clause which is available in the SQL is called the select clause, that allow you to select the value from the databases, right? A complete dedicated explanation of the select is available in the previous videos, right? So go ahead and watch that. The next clause is called the where clause. When I talk about the where clause, it is like specifying a condition. It would not be a case where you always want to get all the data. We have to always specify some condition, right? Where the age is greater than 19, where the salary is less than 5,000. All of that is done with the help of a where clause. So in simple terms, the where clause is used to specify a condition, right? This also we have explained in the first video, so not spending much time here, but that is just to give you a recap, because this is what we are going to refer in the next upcoming clauses as well, right? So first one was the select, the second is the where, which is used to specify the condition. Now when I talk about the where clause, we always have these functions which we can use, right? Where let's say the age is greater than 18, the salary is less than 10,000, or you can say the voting age is less than or equal to this age. You have the name like Mukesh, you have the value in these parameters. So all of these can be used in a where clause. To use a where clause, you simply come to the SQL statement. After the employees, you just put a where, and here you just say that, let's say I want to get everything where salary is less than 30,000. So as of now, you could see I have a lot of employees, but as soon as I execute this query, I am only getting the employee ID and the salary where it is less than 30,000, right? So you can always play around this query with greater than equal to, right? So select and where we have already explained in detail in the previous videos, right? So feel free to watch those videos, right? So two things we have covered, the select and the where clauses. Okay, moving ahead now. Now this is a new clause which you guys would see. Some of you which are following from the previous videos of the aggregate function, there we have used the group by clause, but we haven't explained it, right? Now what is a group by clause? The group by clause is used to arrange the results of the select query by one or more columns. When I say the arrange the results, which means that the output of the select query is always some data sets. In case you want to arrange that data set, that is where you are going to use group by clause. Now a group by clause is often used with something which is called aggregate functions. We have already seen the aggregate function in the previous video, such as sum, average, min, max, right? Where we perform calculation on a group data. So if you go by the name, the group by is simply used to arrange everything in a group, right? So take an example, right? So let's say I want to group all the employee as per their department, and I want to know how many employees are there in which department, right? So if you see my query says get me the number of employees department wise, right? So I want to group the employees as per their department. So I want to group, that is where I want to use the group by clause. Okay, let's see that in action in the SQL server. I am back in my SQL server. So let's first check what data we have got in the table. So I go here and I put select star. Okay, so I have got the department as IT, finance, HR, and IT, finance, and HR, right? I want to group by them employees. I want to know how many employees I have in IT and how many employees I have in finance, how many employees I have in HR, right? How we can do that? So the idea is, first I want to count the number of employees, right? So what I'm going to do here, to count, I'm going to use the aggregate function which is called count, right? Now what do I want to count? I want to count the employee ID, right? So if I just execute this query, you would see that I have got the count. So it is giving me the total count, right? So do I want the total count? Yes, but I want the total count as per the departments, right? So first I'm going to go here and execute this again, right? So the count is giving me the total count, but I want the total count but as per the departments. Okay, so I am telling that select count of employee ID, this is giving me 12, and then I am what else do I require? I require the department also, so I put a comma, and we have discussed, right, in the select query we can put multiple columns. So I go here and I put department. If I try to execute this, you would get an error. It is saying the count of employee is giving you 12, and when you say about the department is a single department, right? So you cannot execute two results in a single query, right? So that is where you have to use something which is called a group by. So I'll go here and I simply specify group by. When I specify here group by, this simply means that how do you want to group the data. So I go and I click on execute here, right? Now if you would see here, all the data is coming here, and now I have to specify how do I want to group, right? So I want to group it by department. Now if I simply go and execute this, you would notice that for finance you would have 3, for HR you have 3 employees, for IT you have 5, right? Now this count you can always give a alias, right, that we have also seen. So this is nothing but the number, right? So I am saying that this is the number of employees. Okay, I'll go and completely execute this statement again, and you would see that for finance you would have 3 employees, for HR you would have 4, and for IT you have 5 employees. So that is how you use a group by clause. One more property of the group by clause is that we can use group by on multiple columns. Now what does it mean? As of now, if you notice here, we are only grouping the data as per the department, right? So I'm getting all the department here, right? Now let's say I have a requirement where I want to get the salary as per the department wise. Okay, so I'm simply going to go here and I'm going to change this count to sum. Now again, sum is an aggregate function, right? Same like count, you have the sum. So I am telling SQL Server that give me the sum of salary, and mention that as sum of salary as per the department wise, and give me the data. But as I mentioned, we can also use group by with multiple columns as well, right? Now let's say along with the department I want to see the location as well. So how do I do it? In the group by you have an option to put a comma and specify the location. Where is this location coming from? This is nothing but coming from here, this location, right? If I execute this query now, you would notice I have changed the data structure, right? But I do not have this location with, so in the select statement, that is why we are not able to see the location here. I just have to put a comma here. So whatever you have mentioned in the group by clause, if that is not available in the select statement, you won't see it, right? As simple as that. So if I go and execute this statement now, you would notice that I am getting the sum of salary, I am getting the department, and I have grouped it as per the location as well, right? So this statement returns the total salary for the combination of department and location, right? So the department and the columns are used to specify the group, whereas the sum of the function is calculating the total in each group. Now one more thing here to notice is that when you use a multiple columns group by, the result is visible as per the last one which you have specified. If you want to again group it by as per the department and keep the location here, you can simply reshuffle this column. So I'll cut the department and paste it here like this, and I execute. You would notice Now it has again grouped it as per the department and then followed by the locations, right? So that is how you use the group by clause. Again, just to repeat, the group by is used to group the results of the select query, right? This is always used in conjunction of aggregate functions such as sum, average, mean and max. How I can use it? Just specify whatever you want to select. You have to use the aggregate function, and whatever you want to group it by, just use it in a group by statement. You can also group it by multiple location, and these two example is what we have seen. So I hope you understand what exactly is the group by clause. If that is the case, I want you guys to comment group by so that I understand that you got the context of the group by clause. One more thing guys, these are the clauses you would better understand once you practice, right? So create a simple data structure, use this query, put multiple columns here, play with the queries, play with the clauses. That is where you would understand. Okay. Having said that, let's move to the next clause, which is the having clause, right? Now the having clause is same like the where clause of the select statement. Now why do I say that? Whenever we are using a select statement, what we ideally do? We use the select query, then we use a where condition, right? Now the where condition is used to filter the records which are not grouped or which are not arranged. Let's say you already have used the grouped data using the average function, you have used the group by, and now you want to specify some condition. So that is where you are using the having clauses, right? So it is similar to the where clauses, but it works when your data is already grouped. Let me quickly show that in the SSMS. So I have this data. When I use select star from employees, I am getting all the data, right? But if I just specify here a where condition and I just specify like where salary is less than 30,000, then what happens? I am able to filter the data. So if you see, the first statement was not a grouped data, right? In the second query, let me just remove this guy and this location as well from here. Okay. So what I am telling is, give me the salary department wise. So finance, it has got a salary of this, HR has got a salary of this, IT has got a salary of this. Now when my data is grouped, so in such situation where your data is already grouped, you can use the having clause, and then I can simply say having the sum of salary like this is, let's say, less than 12 lakhs, 1 2 3 4 5. So if I execute this, I am getting this data, right? All of that is less than 12 lakhs. Let me just remove 1 0, I guess. Yeah, I am getting only 1 now, right? So this was a grouped data, and if I have to filter the group data, then I have to use the having clause. Okay. Now this not only applies to sum, you can use any of the average functions such as count, right? So I am saying give me the count of employee ID as, let's say, employee count, and the department, group them by the department. Okay, having the count of employee greater than something. So first let me get this output. So it's saying that finance, you are having 3 employees, HR you have 4 employees, and IT you have 5 employees. So I'm telling give me the count where the count of employee ID is, let's say, more than 4. So if you can see more than 4, I only have IT. So I'll execute this, and I am getting only one statement, right? So that is what the having does. It is used to filter the results which are grouped by the aggregate functions, and to group them we are using the group by clause. Okay, so this was the example which we have seen. Now the question arises, can I use a where clause and a having clause, and what is the difference between using them, right? So this slide actually tells a bit about the having versus the where clause. Okay, having is applied after the group by clause has been processed. This we have already seen, right? The where clause is applied before the group by clause. So the answer to the first question, can I use them in a single query? The answer is yes, right? But the thing would be, the having can be only used when the data is grouped by, and that's obvious, right? We have seen in the previous demonstration, if my data is already grouped, then only I can use the having. So the having clause would be used only after the group by, whereas the where can be used before the group by as well. Okay, now having clause can only be used to filter the record on the grouped data. You cannot use having to just on a single column. If you want to use having, you data should be grouped. Take an example of this query, right? Select count of star is a group, so this is a group. So that is why on this group, if I want to filter, then I can use the having clause. Okay, whereas the where clause can be used to filter the data on individual rows. So this actually differentiate. Okay, now let's try to take this query to SQL Server and see how does it behave. Okay, so I'll just copy the query from the presentation and I'll paste it here. Now what is this query? I am telling SSMS, give me the number of employees and a department from the employees where salary is greater than 5,000. Now if I just comment this salary, so how do I comment? You can simply use these statements, right? Now if I simply execute it till this point, you would notice this was the old query which we have using, right? Give me the count of employees, give me the department and group by department. Nothing special here, right? But as soon as I introduce a where clause and I execute this, now I have specified a condition where the salary should be greater than 5,000. Let me quickly check what is the salary structure. For all the people, the salary is greater than 5,000, right? That's why we are not getting something here. So I'll just change it to something like 25,000, right? Now if I execute till this, I have not included the where clause as well, right? See, now I am getting the number of employees 1, HR 3 people and IT 4 people. But if I simply comment this, to comment you simply have to put 2 backslashes and execute this. This was the actual count, right? So you can use the where clause, but it should be before the group by clause, right? So till this point, I hope you understand that this is a simple query. Get me the count of employees, give from the department where the salary is 25,000. Salary is greater than 25,000. You can always omit this one. Once this data is available with me, now this is a grouped data. Why I am seeing a group data? Because I have used the group by, I have used this thing as a parameter. Now if I want to say, give me the result where the grouped data count is greater than 3. So greater than 3, it's only available for IT. So out of the final result, which is a group data, if I want to specify a condition, then I am going to use the having and I am getting a single record, right? So this is how you specify the where and the having in a single statement, right? So the idea is simple. Whatever you want to get from which table, what is your condition? So this was your old thing which we have been seeing, right? Since I have used this condition, I have to definitely group it by something. So I have used group by department. When the final output was there, I simply want to again have some condition on the group data. So that is where I have used the having clause, right? So the idea of using a having in a group by clause is absolutely simple. You can use both of them in a single statement, but the idea is the where is applied before the group by clause. The having can be used only on the filtered or the group data, whereas the where data can be used on individual records, right? So depending on your requirement, you can use it accordingly, right? Again, the same thing I would like to repeat. If you want to understand more about these clauses, you would have to do a practice. You would have to create sample table, sample structure, and then again repeat it, right? So if you keep practicing this, if you keep playing with these queries, salary greater than, less than, count, having, group by, you would get a lot of insights, right? So I hope this, at least till this point, you understand what exactly is a having and what exactly is a group by clause, right? So if you have followed a lot till the having clause, I just want you guys to comment having in the comments so that I understand, at least you guys understand the concept of having clauses, right? So I'll wait for your comments. Let's move forward to the next one, which is called the order by clause. Okay, this is the last clause which we are going to see today, right? So the order by clause is used to sort the result of the select query by one or more columns. Okay, I have a query, I have got the results. Now that result, I want to sort it in an ascending, I want to sort it in a descending order, right? It's as per my requirement. How can I do that? So that is where your order by come in picture, which is used to specify and give you the result as per your requirement. Let's see that in action. Okay, I am back in my SQL Server. I'll remove this query and let's see our data. So this I am getting the complete data, right? Select star from employees. Now if you would see here, these ID are not proper, right? 123, then 321, then 500, then 311, then 200, right? If I want to get the data in a proper format, you simply have to go here and you specify here order by and just write the column name, employee ID, execute. Now you would see this data is sorted as per employee ID. If you do not assign anything here, SQL Server will treat this as an ascending. But if soon as you specify here DESC, this means descending. Now, what do you mean by descending? Descending means higher to lower. So if I again execute it, you would see 785 is at the top and 123 is at the bottom, right? If you do not assign anything, it's by default taken as ascending, right? So ascending is not a mandatory keyword in the group by. Even if I exclude the ascending, you would get the same result, right? Ascending means lower to higher and descending means higher to lower, right? So that is how you use it. So again, descending. Not only I can do it in this column, you can do it in the employee name as well, right? I want to get the result alphabetically. So employee name, and I'll remove this, execute. Now it's sorted as alphabetical B, J, and then L, M, like this, right? So all of this you can use it in order by ascending, descending. You can use the salary options, right? So order by is a statement which is simply used to give the data in a arranged format, whatever you want to like. Okay, now let's say in the same example, I simply want to get the data as per the highest salary. So I simply go here and I say select star from employee, order by salary and descending. And this is giving me the output that highest salary is for the John, who is in the HR department, and like this ascending to descending, right? It is important to note that the order by should be the last clause in the select statement, which means that it always should be at the end. You cannot use the condition here and then in between you can order by, right? So let's say I want to get only where the, let's say the department is equal to HR, right? So for the HR, I want to get the salary by descending. So this order by should be the last clause. If you put it in between, it won't work, right? So the idea is simple, right? First you get the data, whatever you have got, select star from employee, where the department in HR, and whatever result you have got, then you use the order by, and that way you can get the data. Now again the same thing, you can always use the aggregate and the group by function also with order by, right? So let's say I want to now get the sum of salary, right? So I just go here and I write sum of salary from employee, right? And I want to get the department name as well, where department is equal to HR. That is not required. You can use group by as well, group by department. So if I just simply execute till this point, you would notice that for the finance it is having this, for the HR it is having this, for the IT it is having this, right? Now order by salary descending, would it work? The answer is no, because we have used the aggregate function here. So if you want to use the order by, you would have to use the sum here, right? So I go here and I put the sum here, and now I execute, you will get it, right? So whatever you have used in the select query, the same you can use in the order by as well, right? But the idea is simple. Order by would be always the last thing, because you are filtered the data. It is same like using a having. Once you have the data, you are putting some clause, and then once you have put the clause, you want to see the result as per your requirement, right? So you cannot use it in between. You have to use order by at the end. Coming back to my presentation, so I hope you understand how does the order by work. You simply have to specify the column names, order by the employee name. Okay, we can use this keyword, which is ASC, which is ascending. If you do not put anything, it's by default ascending. This we have also seen, and then you can put descending. Okay, you can also sort the results by multiple columns, by order by department, then by salary descending. Okay, so you can also use it like this, and you can also use a combination of order by, group by, and the having clauses along with the select statement, right? So there is a lot to explore this, but the idea is your concept that what does this clause do should be clear, right? So I hope you understand what exactly is order by clause. If that is the case, I will wait for your order by comment in my comment section. Okay, so this was the last clause which we wanted to cover today. Let's quickly summarize. Okay, so today we have covered what are the clauses. A clauses is used to specify a condition. Select, from, and where, these are the basic thing which we have already covered in the previous videos. So I want you guys to refer that, and this we have covered in detail. We have seen three clauses today: group by, having, and order by. Group by clause is used to group the query on more than one columns and give you the aggregated function. This always work in the aggregate function context of aggregate functions, right? Once you have the group by data and you want to specify some condition, you cannot use a where condition. So that is where I have to use the having clause, right? So the having group data on this condition, right? So group by is used to club the data. Having is used to specify a condition on the group data, and the last one what we have seen is the order by, that is simply used to sort your query in ascending to descending or descending to ascending. This can be done in more than one columns as well. Okay, so all of this we have explained in a step-by-step manner, so I hope you guys were able to follow along. If you have any more further questions, doubt, any feedback on this video, feel free to let me know. Having said that, I would like to wrap this video here. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please do subscribe to the channel, and happy automation.